Efecto Cascada.
Un podcast de Explore.
Dear Explorers, welcome to the 6th episode of Efecto Cascada, the podcast of Exploro where we explore the cutting edge of innovation, share insights from entrepreneurs, and reveal cascade funding opportunities. Each episode dives into the latest trends in the digital sector, cultural sector as well, arts and groundbreaking technologies that are shaping our current world. From our headquarters in Pamplona, we aim to explore a global audience starting from European Union initiatives. I'm Paula, Communications Manager at Exploro, and it's a complete pleasure to be your host for today's episode. So as you may have noticed, we're continuing with remote podcast series, but as always, if you need to listen or grab all the insights on another language, you can just go ahead to YouTube and activate subtitles. Okay, so today we're honored to have with us Aurélie Delater, project coordinator, among others, of our Starts in the City, a project of the innovative Starts initiative. Aurélie brings a wealth of experience in managing projects that blend art and technology to address complex challenges of today's society. Indeed, in this episode, we'll explore how Starts in the City is driving local innovation by combining arts with technology and science to tackle societal and ecological challenges. From AI robotics to smart cities and sustainable urban development, we'll discuss how art-driven solutions are shaping the ethical future of technology. So stay tuned to hear all the details. Let's start, shall we? Welcome, Aurélie. How are you?
Hello, nice to be here.
Thank you very much for being with us today. Perfect. So would you mind introducing yourself to our audience?
Yes, so my name is Aurélie Delater, and I am a project manager specialized in European projects that mix arts and technology, and especially in the frame of the START initiative, as you said, that promotes cross-disciplinary collaborations through residencies, prizes, events, and educational activities.
Perfect. Yeah, and I'm quite curious. What drew you to this field in regards of European Union projects?
So before entering in this field, I was working at a university in Brazil to support the researchers for their academic projects. And then I moved back to Europe in Portugal, and I wanted to have, my own projects in a sector, in a field that interests me personally. And I took some time to think about that. And naturally, the artistic and cultural sectors had my preference. So I worked for some years in an innovation consultancy where I discovered Starts. And 4 years ago, I decided to work as a freelance, but I remained in the same field that I like a lot, especially regarding the design of methodologies, to support large residencies programs like we have in Starts.
So we want to know what's the initiative Starts in the City and what are the main goals that this initiative wants to approach?
So Starts in the City is a pilot project that is co-funded by the European Commission, especially DG Connect, which is the agency in the Commission that leads the digital agenda of Europe. And the project is led by a consortium of 6 partners. 5 are institutions that support art tech collaborations. So Gluon, that is based in Brussels, it's a coordinator. Then we have MIT Digital Center in Milan. We have Ars Electronica in Linz, Kersnikova Institute in Slovenia, ACTE in Barcelona. And then the 6th partner is Innova from Portugal, that is an innovation consultancy. And the project focuses on providing insights and solutions to the challenges that the European regions are facing in different fields like green manufacturing, sustainable urban development, security, recycle, or digital literacy. And we provide these solutions to these challenges through a program of residencies where arts and creativity collaborate with science and tech what we call tech for good. And these solutions lead to the emergence of ecologically conscious technology uses. And through the arts, we question technology and science and to bring new perspectives and innovative solutions. And I would say that to have a concrete impact, we engage with local and regional stakeholders like startups, municipalities, universities, but also schools, young people, and the public in general.
All right. Yeah, no, definitely. It's really interesting because, as you said, you want to have all the focuses, all the branches, not just the technological and the scientific one, but also the arts, which I personally think that are way more creative and can bring sometimes crazy ideas to the table, right?
Yeah, that's the point.
What inspired the creation of this initiative? Was there an specific events where you thought, all right, let's gather all together and create a Starts in the City?
So Starts in the City is, let's say, it's part of a larger frame in Starts that we call the Starts Regional Centers. So the objective of the European Commission with the Starts initiative was to establish such physical centers to anchor the collaboration between artists, technologists, and scientists at regional level, and to have these physical places of reference across Europe that have this capacity and this experience of the cross-disciplinary collaborations. And more specifically for Starts in the City, our starting point, our conceptual approach was the cohesion policy programs of the 6 regions of the consortium. So we analyzed their challenges that themselves identify in their, in their policy documents, and we built the challenges of the residencies around their own challenges, their regional challenges.
Okay. Interesting. You commented that you want to bring it to the local frame. Can you explain what the residency program is and how does it evolve? Do you see the actual impact reflected once the residency program is developed?
So yes, so for the residencies program, what we do and what we do in Starts and what we have also applied in Starts in the City is that we always work with the local stakeholders. So for each challenge, for each region and each residency, we when I say we are the consortium partners, we gather a local expert group. So these are people from different fields that will bring their perspective and their expertise to the residency working with the artist. And for example, to give you an example, one of them was, one of the challenges was called Where Our Food Comes From. It was launched in Brussels by Gluon, and the idea was to bring an artist or an artistic perspective to enhance the transparency and collaboration in the Brussels food system. And so to bring more information to the people, but also to the policymakers of the travel of the food between the fields and the city, and how we can use digital technologies to provide the consumers with more detailed information about what they eat. So this is very anchored at local level, and the impact is very concrete in a sense that during this residency there was a boat that was built by a collective of artists that is called Future Farmers, and they created a space that they wanted not only a place that can make the food travel and be transported, but also to bring the community to the workshops, to be informed also about food. So it's really also, there is like an activist and societal really component particularly in this one, but in every residency.
All right. So talking, let's say, the benefits, right, that are given to these beneficiaries. Could you explain what were the main benefits and, for example, what kind of financial support was given?
Yeah. So for these residencies, and I would say that it is a characteristic of the START residencies in general that also appear in other START projects. The residency period is 9 months and the grant is 40K. And the grants are only directed to artists.
Mm-hmm. So directly to the artists. They are the main agents. Okay.
Yeah, they are the sole beneficiaries.
Mm-hmm. So, Aurélie, regarding impact and results, first of all, what has been the overall experience in integrating art with technology through residencies?
Well, I would say that it's a long road that we have followed for many years through STARTS. And we see really that we have valuable insights for all parties. And I think that's what is interesting, is that everyone involved can find something interesting for them. So of course, for the artists, for their practice, but also for the researchers, something that we hear a lot is that, when they, for example, they analyze data, they are in their lab with their computers and having an artist with them and see what they do with this data. It allows them to de-zoom a little, to take some distance and also to visualize, to apply somehow what they are doing. And for the technologist, it's another perspective, because what they say is that the artist will come with a fresh perspective, with a critical eye on the technology. And so they question, they can question together the use of the technology, maybe find other applications. So let's say that it is the direct, very concrete impact for the parties of the residencies. But I would say that there are many more. Because for the audience also, we can raise awareness on topics that our society is facing. So, on the environment, on recycling, on the urban development. So we bring this to the public at the end with our artistic installations in festivals, in museums, in conferences. And it's also super important for us to have an impact on policymakers, because of course they are the ones that do the policies, but also
Actually
distribute the money.
Yeah.
We have to have these discussions with them. And something also what has happened already is to find other applications to a technology, for example. Startup was thought about a product for a specific use, but then the artist came and they found another use. So that can be that is also super interesting to open the perspectives of all the people involved.
As you commented a bit, what results are you hoping to achieve through the project? But could you explain us how did you measure this impact? Was there a way, or how did you manage?
Yeah. Well, I have to say that so START is running now for 8 years, and we have at the beginning our focus during the first years was really how to make this happen, these collaborations between these different parties that don't have the same language. So we worked a lot on the methodology for the residencies themselves, and it was super interesting. And I think that now we have we have our way to do, always improving, but we have a good roadmap. But what we missed a little, because it's not really the comfort zone of the cultural organizations in general, is how to assess really the results and the impact of a residency program. And so in Starts in the City, we wanted to have a little this focus, and we managed to do this through ACTE, which is a hub of technology and science and society based in Barcelona. And they have 11 members, and one of the members of this association, of this hub, is Open University of Catalonia. And so a group of researchers, they have put together a methodology, really a solid scientific methodology to assess the impact of our residencies program. And that's, I think that was really a step forward for the project, but also for Starts in general. And so basically what we did before was to ask the artists to write a report on their experience. And then we, as partners, we also gave some feedback, and that was how we measured impact. But that we missed a little to have more solid data. So what we did in this project was to keep the reports, but with targeted questions that we would be able to analyze afterwards. And then we also organized interviews with other parties, not only with the artists, but also with the scientists and the technologists, and some of the experts that collaborated with the residency at local level, and the innovation catalyst. So the innovation catalyst is, let's say, the facilitator of the residency, so the person from the cultural organizations that will follow the whole process and make everything happen, you know, and everyone communicating with each other. And so we did interviews, and we had also a focus group. So we managed to gather a lot more data than usual. And then the university, they used artificial intelligence software that is called Atlas. That is, I think it's really for the academia. And so they processed all this data, and of course with a human also intervention, because only AI was not sufficient, but it was helping. And so they came to some conclusions. And I think one of the conclusions that can be interesting to reflect about is to this mention of, you know, of KPI. We all work with key performance indicators for many years. But then in the report, we highlight the fact that in our case of residencies, with a process of transformation like this, that is not, you know, one day for another, we should use KTIs, which are key transformative indicators. And so it brings, you know, another perspective of how we can assess the results of such processes. So it takes some time to adjust also our work, how we do, but I think it will be very beneficial in the next years if we continue applying this methodology.
So looking at the future, what are the next steps in this initiative? Are there any upcoming goals, or what is the project planning? Can you give our audience a way that they can, you know, be part of it?
So for Starts in the City, the project will end at the end of November. So we are quite at the end, as a final phase of the project. So we are more into dissemination, but we are also organizing some events. So, for example, in Brussels, we have this weekend I Love Science Festival, where we exhibit some of the artworks, and we will have the artists also. We have events also in Italy. So we are in this phase of dissemination, and also, especially in Spain, that can be interesting. We are organizing a symposium on the 29th and 30th of October. As is Open University of Catalonia. And so we will talk about impact. We will have roundtables with artists and scientists and technologists that work in these interdisciplinary collaborations that will present their projects. We will have also a roundtable to talk about starts at regional level. We will have also a policy workshop where from the 6 regions involved in the project, we are inviting our local policymakers, and we will have them discussing together of their experience and how they could support initiatives like STARTS at their level. I think we will have also like a little party or something.
An after party.
So that's happening in the frame of the project. So no more open calls in STARTS in the City, and usually in each project we launch only one open call for many residencies. But as I said, STARTS in the City is part of a larger frame that is a STARTS initiative, and we have other projects that are running, and so there will be open calls very regularly where artists can apply for residencies.
Perfect. So on the bigger picture for our audience, we can tell them to be aware of the whole STARTS community and initiative. I was just going to ask you, how did you think that this project was going to benefit innovators on our country and Spain? But is this event that you're talking about open? Can they go to check the roundtables and learn?
Yeah. Of course, you are all welcome. So you can find all the details or all information about STARTS in general in the website that is called starts.eu, and you will see that we have a STARTS symposium, and there is also program how to register. So yeah, please come.
Perfect, beautiful. Honestly, it's like the peak of the initiative, but not just that. It's the way to raise awareness on the challenges that must be faced, right? Perfect. Yeah. And Aurélie, what advice would you give to other artists or entrepreneurs looking to get involved in Cascade funding opportunities?
Well, I think that, away from being aware of what is happening in STARTS and other related initiatives at European level, what really is the DNA of STARTS is the collaboration, the cross-disciplinarity between arts, science and technology. So if you have a project that is an artistic project, because it's really the basis, that integrates this dimension of science and tech, I would say that you are really in a good place for a STARTS project. But it's important that, let's say, it's really at the same level, in the sense that the artist is not just a consultant in a tech company. That's not the point of STARTS. But also to have a mutual benefit in the lab of a research center, in a startup, and also in a studio of an artist.
I really understand it. Yeah, you want to really create this chaos, right? So that it has a breakthrough moment and a project can peak. Perfect, right? So before closing this episode, let's move on to the final section. Right? So you're going to have to raise a question to the next guest, because this is like a bit of a fair game on our podcast. However, before you do so, we have a question for you from the previous guest. Okay?
Okay.
So this guest was Javier Massa from Massa Design, and he's actually an artist beneficiary from Better Factory, another initiative. All right. And he said, let me find the question. So he said, has artificial intelligence changed the way you work? And how do you apply it on your daily basis, on your work routine?
I would say basically no, it didn't change so much, at least for me as a project manager. What I find interesting, for example, using OpenAI, it's to help summarize some reports, or if you have like an evaluation form to do, then you can ask, you put the context, and they give you right away the questions that you can ask. So it's really a support to be a little faster in my work. Yeah. But what I see, for example, when I write proposals, so applications to get funding, is that the AI, at least the one that is accessible, like ChatGPT and for the everyone people, it's not there yet. I mean, it can't give you answers. It can give you a creative design of a project, for example. It's it's not so advanced, and I think it's a good thing. So because I have tried, by curiosity, if I give okay, I have this open call, give me an original concept. It is not capable of doing this. So to me, it's just a way to go a little faster on certain administrative tasks or this kind of things, but it doesn't give solutions.
Would you like to raise a question for the next guest?
Yeah, so I have thought of a question that is totally different. So that's funny. For me, I was thinking, the other day I was thinking, in our daily work, we highlight a lot what are our challenges when we talk to colleagues and what are the problems, but we forget also of the little things that make always our work interesting. And so the question that I wanted to ask is, what is your greatest achievement of the week? It can be something very small, but that made this person happy.
That's really funny because, right, we're always focusing on the monthly goals, but we must go step by step, right, to achieve that success. Perfect. So we'll see the next guest if he or she answers that. Perfect. All right. So that brings us to the end of the 6th episode of Efecto Cascada. So it has been a real pleasure to have you with us here, Aurélie. Thank you very much. And such an interesting project initiative, which is the Starts in the City. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you as well, explorers, for joining us. Remember that this podcast is a video podcast and is available in all streaming platforms as well as YouTube. So don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss anything, as well as any Cascade funding opportunity. Until next time, explorers, let's keep exploring the fascinating world of innovation together. See you!